Welcome to my review of the JBL Charge 4. Before we get started, I want to ask you to please like and subscribe below as it really does help out the channel. Now, let's get into the review. First off, this thing comes in a freaking bougie box, like entire phone construction and magnetic lid. Inside, you find the speaker itself and then the charging cable, which is a USB Type-A to Type-C, which means yes, this does have a USB Type-C port for charging. This is a nice future-proofing feature, so I'm glad to see that they've worked to include it. Now, this thing has a lot to live up to, as I've been using its older brother for years now and it's been through hell and back and still alive, so I'm expecting a lot from this new one. And after using this thing, I definitely think that JBL has delivered. The new model has a bigger battery, bigger woofers, faster charging rate, and 50% more power. Now we'll see how all this holds up later in the review, but right off the bat it seems like they definitely have been working hard. Unfortunately, some things have been lost. For instance, it no longer has a built-in speakerphone, which I can't say I mind too much because it wasn't that great on the first model, but I figure it's still worth saying. The newer version has also put on quite a few pounds, weighing around 20% more and being a fair bit bigger as well. This really sucks, as one of my favorite things to do with this was to use it on my bike as a bike speaker by shoving it into the water bottle holder. It still fits technically, but it's not nearly as good of a fit as the older one was. Continue on with its physical aspects, they have swapped the sync and Bluetooth buttons, which I think is a welcome addition, as I have found myself wanting to connect new devices to it way more often than syncing up multiple of them. However, that doesn't mean that the functionality is gone. You can actually link up to 100 of them together in a mesh network. This connection actually works better than ever, and with the better Bluetooth range it now has with Bluetooth 4.2 instead of 4.1, syncing them should be a breeze, even with older devices as it is backwards compatible. The Bluetooth range of this is actually pretty incredible, like I was able to walk at least 50 or 60 feet while maintaining connection. This was tested with line of sight, but still very impressive. Continue on with the physical aspects, the buttons are now slightly lower profile than they were previously. Like, they're still easy to find and feel, I just wish they had left them like they were. One good change though is that the woofers are now rubber-sided instead of the previous metal ones, along with being bigger. This means that they will be less likely to be scratched and more durable, which is a good thing for this type of product. The rubber will also handle water better, which is a good thing as this speaker is IPX7 rated, as was its predecessor. I have no reason to doubt this, as I have submerged the older one many times. One worry I do have though is that this waterproofing may not hold up to the test of time, as has happened on my older version of this product. This waterproofing is still cool though, and the speaker even floats, and if you get a song with heavy bass, the side woofers have a fun party trick. Overall though, the physical aspect of this speaker has definitely improved, and with the new translucent rubber it definitely looks cool, especially in the right lighting. Now on to the real meat, the electronics and sound quality. The speaker now boasts a whole extra 5 Hz of sound playback capability at the low end, which in person you can't really hear, but it's nice to know that they made it a bit better. But what you really can hear is the amazing work they've done in tuning the speaker to provide much clearer mid-range while still keeping solid bass. This can really be heard in complex tracks such as the song Young and Menace, where all of the complex sounds can kind of mesh together and just sound like noise like they did on the older model. The bass is also much more pronounced and you definitely hear it, however you don't really feel it. Like even this cheap generic Bluetooth speaker gives off solid bass, in fact so much that it can actually bounce itself all around the table, so maybe this is a poor example, but you get what I'm saying. Overall, this clarity is great, and it also comes with a volume boost as it now can output 30 watts RMS instead of the previous model's 20 watts. This could explain why the battery is still rated at 20 hours of playback even when the capacity has moved up to 7500 mAh instead of the previous 6000. What's nice though is that they have implemented fast charging, so even though the battery is bigger, it actually charges faster at only 4 hours from completely empty to completely full. This is awesome and really adds to the speaker's utility. Overall, that's what I really enjoy about this speaker. It just does its job so well, and there are so many competitors like the UE Boom, things of that nature, but for me, the versatility, audio quality, and the value of this speaker just make it the best option. Now, that's how I feel about the product, but now I want to say some things that I think I would change. One would be that I would add the ability to turn the 3.5mm jack on the back into an output to either have the speaker work in unison or act like a Bluetooth hub for other speaker systems. This would not add a lot of complexity and could probably be developed in software if JBL put their time into it. Another thing that I would change would make the buttons higher profile, so they would be easier to press without having to look at them. They aren't bad now, but I definitely prefer how they were previously. That's pretty much it for what I would change, but one comment that I also wanted to make was that when I first ordered the speaker, they actually sent me a pair of headphones, and it took a 40-minute phone call for me to get them to send the shipping label and give me the correct product. As a consolation, they did upgrade my order from a refurb unit to a new one, but that was nice, but they only did it because they didn't have any more refurb units in the color I chose. This was by far the biggest issue, and it was an honest mistake, or more likely like a software bug, so I don't hold it against them too much, I just figured it was worth pointing out. Obviously, if you buy it in person, you won't have this issue, but unfortunately now, I don't get to test out their refurbs to see if they have the same quality as the originals do. Guess we'll have to check out that on another episode. But thank you so much for your time watching, and feel free to support this channel by liking and subscribing for more videos in the future.